Another brilliant day, another brilliant morning as we bring you the most talked about, informative and educative episode of Your Sport, where we create a platform for unsung heroes within different sporting codes. Once again, thank you so much for taking your time and watching this wonderful episode. This is Biggie on Sport, and welcome. In today's episode, we're looking at a sport not so popular, not so familiar within the African continent, but it is strictly of the American origin. It started back in the 80s down in the US by a young man at the age of about 31 years, James Neil Smith, who put together students at a particular college, putting them together because it was cold outside, and he took them into a hall, and that's where the idea of a basketball was born or was created. But in today's episode, we have a guest who's going to share more in depth about the sport itself. He's here with us to talk to us. His name is Tshepo. Tshepo, thank you so much. Tshepo Makudu, thank you so much. You also call yourself Shinja. Yeah, tell us more. Who is Tshepo Makudu? Who is Tshepo Makudu Shinja?
All right.
Or Tshepo Shinja Makudu?
Yeah. I'm Tshepo Makudu.
Yes.
Tshepo Shinji Makudu. I am age 22 from Kempton Park.
Okay.
I currently am a student and a coach at Varsity College Waterfall campus.
Okay.
And I am the basketball team captain as well as basketball head.
Okay.
On campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
The idea or the inspiration, share with us where it all started. Taking into account that you are at the age of 22, but you have mentioned that you are coaching both male and female team. But we want to get to that. Just give us a brief bio of yourself.
All right, so pretty much the inspiration where everything started is at home and at my best friend's house. We were playing basketball one day outside on the streets. And one day my older brother came home with NBA 2K for the PS3. And after that, the love of the game just grew. Started watching more documentaries about the sports and everything. Started getting more involved, or trying to at least. Started out bad, pretty horrible. But after a while, it was steady cruising, to be honest. Yeah. So I've been playing basketball for about 4 years now. And I started in matric. Started just after COVID, pretty much. And been working pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned something as I look at your bio that along the way as a player, you actually experienced an unfortunate situation whereby you sustained an injury in one of your tendons. Just tell us more.
All right, so basically I had torn my patellar tendon in 2022. It was during a preseason match. I was going up for a rebound, as I do, landed unfortunately because of someone else's weight on my leg, and my knee got dislocated and the tendon right over here tore. Yeah.
And are you still involved in the game itself?
Oh yes. As
a player, not as a coach?
As a player and as a coach.
So meaning that you have recovered?
Yes, fully recovered. Did the whole physiotherapy and made it back stronger and better.
I've done a lot of research around the sport itself, and I went through a number of search engines, your Google, your Wikipedia, etc., and they all in fact reflecting on one thing, that the sport itself originates from the US. Could you actually give credence to that as a player?
So basically, I feel like everybody knows that basketball is at its biggest in the USA because of the NBA. That is the biggest commercial form of basketball there is in the whole entire world. And that's generally where the best players go. Right? And due to the fact that it's not as popular here in Africa, more especially South Africa, it's still a more upcoming sport. It's a bit difficult, but by using the information that we get from the NBA and learning from their mistakes and everything, we are able to grow the game this side.
Very interesting point, quite poignant, very much so. You mentioned that the sport is unpopular in South Africa. Why is that? What's hampering the sport to become so popular? Because we identify ourselves with the global world out there,
Yeah.
and we need to be up there with the rest of the world. Why are we still lagging behind as South Africans in as far as the sport is concerned?
I think, truthfully speaking, at first it was accessibility, the fact that the sport isn't at a lot of schools. And that's probably the first hindrance there is. And the fact that there wasn't a lot of coaches and whatnot to teach the sports to other, kids and other people that are interested in it. And the fact that as well, the NBA only started being broadcasted in South Africa a couple of years ago on ESPN. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's been, I think, a big hindrance on the sport and it being unpopular, but it's growing now. It's growing.
I want to take you back to your involvement as a player, as a coach.
Yeah.
Before we get into the thick of things, and as far as generally the sport is concerned, you are now a coach, and you have a very impressive, actually, I would say, resume. You've actually made strides in making sure that you take both teams, male and females, to the US. But before we get to that, also, why did you become a coach?
I think I became a coach generally to sort of give back, especially because I was taught at a high school by a random coach and everything, and he just taught me the game. He taught me the love of the game, and he most importantly told me to give back. As soon as you get as good as you can, or good enough rather, give back as much as possible to the sport.
Let's talk about the team players, the team members. We all know that the sport itself, it can only have about 5 players. Each player, yourself as well as the opponents playing. But let's look at the team members that you have. Where are they coming from? Since you're in Kempton Park, are they from Kempton Park, neighboring areas, your Batchley, your Tembisa, etc., etc.?
No, so generally most of my teammates are actually from Midrand. So the Midrand area, because that's where we train and that's where our campus is and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so most of them originate from Midrand, Kailani sides, and
What are the requirements for one to be eligible to become a basketball player? And also just put us into the picture, educate us as to what divisions is your team and what is it called and stuff like that. Do you have to register with a particular federation to be recognized and so forth?
Yeah. Okay, so pretty much I play for the Varsity College first team, Waterfall campus first team, and I also play occasionally for the Kempton Park Knights, right? And ideally you have to, with the Varsity College team, we are now in the first division of the Summer Cup League. Okay. And then with the Kempton Park Knights, they are currently playing the Premier Division of the league, which is a league, a level above Division 1. Yeah. So generally, you have to register obviously for a league and everything. There's representatives for the JBL, the Johannesburg Basketball League, and also the Summer Cup League. You talk to them, get registered and everything, and But to be eligible to be a basketball player, honestly, you just need heart. You just have to give it your all. You don't have to be tall. You don't have to be short.
That was going to be my next question, because the impression created out there is that you need to have a certain height to be eligible to take part in the sport itself. And there you are, in fact, you are dispelling those myths.
So I generally don't believe that you have to be tall for it. I think that, sure, it does make it easier to reach the rim, but that's about it. I think everything else comes down to technique, your willpower, and generally your desire to win. More than anything.
Do you guys have accessibility? Do you have facilities within the region? Obviously, Kempton Park is part of the city of Ekurhuleni. It's a region on its own. Are there sufficient facilities for you guys to utilize in terms of training, to access, in terms of to showcase your talent and your potential as well?
Right, so the outdoor courts, we train for the Kempton Park Knights. They train currently at the Barnard Stadium in Kempton Park. The outdoor courts as well as the indoor courts.
Is it privately owned or
no?
It's local government owned?
Yeah, local government owned. So they currently train there outdoors. They just renovated now. They put on, glass backboards. They fixed up the tarring on the floor, painted the new, lines and everything. And yeah, so the facilities as of right now are quite decent, pretty good actually. And then as well as the indoor, there it's probably the best. Yeah.
You are watching Biggie on Sport. This is the show where we say what they want to say. My guest today, it is Tshepo Makudu, as we are looking at basketball as a sport. We know that this is one sport which is not so popular in South Africa, but it is slowly coming up. A lot of people are warming up to the sport itself. He's here to share all the information, the dynamics that comes up with the sport. Are there any sponsorships? Are there any benefits from the sport? What are the benefits from the sport?
Currently, I think in Africa, the highest level that you could get to is the BAL, which is hosted all across the continent of Africa. So
that's a jargon. BAL.
Yes.
Educate us. Give us the full name. BAL.
Basketball African League, right?
Basketball African League.
Right.
Wonderful.
So basically, they play in each country throughout the months. They came to South Africa, I think, in February, right?
Yes, February. Remember, there were tournaments in South Africa.
Right, in Pretoria.
Okay.
So that's where they were hosting their games, and pretty much that's the highest level as of right now you can get in Africa.
Okay.
And to get to that level, you need to surpass the Premier Division, which is the division that the Kempton Park Knights are currently in, right? And from there, you are eligible then for your sponsorships, like with your sports, like Nike, Adidas, and everything else. And yeah.
Talking about the BAL, would you compare that to the NBA in the US?
Yeah, I think that the intensity is close enough.
It's close enough to
Close
that.
enough, right?
That's what actually it's. I don't know. It's mind blowing for me. I see the sport is most of the time associated with a various tertiary institution.
Yeah.
If it's not associated with tertiary institution, it originates from tertiary institutions.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, I think that pretty much that's probably the best level you can play it in, unprofessionally that is.
Okay.
And you then learn a lot, then you can start to make your strides forward to your more professional side of it and everything. So I think that the tertiary side of basketball is the most important side, because firstly it originated from there, and it's just the most accessible for everybody, to be honest.
But tertiary is the last phase, I would think, from where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Any possibilities, or why is it not being introduced at a secondary level? So that you sensitize other learners to develop and grow to develop interest into the sport itself.
Right. So currently it actually is sort of being introduced into the secondary level, like your high schools and whatnot.
Okay.
Like I know Nocum High plays in the, what is it called? Ekurhuleni Basketball League.
Okay.
And they then sometimes get broadcasted onto Supersport and all these sort of channels.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But that is a Supersport schools channel. Yeah?
Yes. So they get broadcasted on there. They play with schools like St. Peter's and everything, your highest class of schools and everything. They get to meet at that level of high school.
So what is the season of the sport itself? We know that for football, there's a particular season.
Right.
They start off maybe in May and stuff like that. They go for recess and stuff like that. Yeah. What is the season of the sport?
To be honest, it's the whole year.
It's the whole year?
Yeah, the work does not stop. There's your summer cup leagues. There's even your winter leagues.
Okay.
It just never stops.
Okay.
I think maybe the only downtime you get is probably towards the beginning of spring, towards the middle of it. But then after then, it kicks right back up. And you are then playing matches and everything again.
You are 22.
Yes.
You have coached both males and females.
Right.
And not only that, you went beyond that, actually taking them to the US.
Right.
As you have mentioned in one of your profiles.
Right.
Both teams. How did that come about?
So basically, I got them to the USA tournaments through just playing, and we got scouted essentially by the head of our basketball, which is at MSA, Monash.
Oh, okay.
And pretty much some of the players got selected from our teams. We went for tryouts. and the ones that I coached made it.
Okay.
That's right. But no, we put in the hard work, we made it, and yeah.
And it's a difficult role that you play, obviously, because you're dealing with different characters here. They come with different challenges in terms of their backgrounds. And young as you are, I think it takes a strong mental fortitude for one in your position to can be able to sustain the team, to make sure that they attend training sessions on daily basis despite personal challenges. How do you conform yourself in such situations?
To be honest, I think the way in which I conform myself is to try form a bond with them, and therefore I don't necessarily talk to them on a coach level, but more as a friend, and therefore we can like sort of push forward together so that they don't feel alone in certain situations like that. And it strengthens the team chemistry and makes it more enjoyable to come to practice. It's not as much of a chore or anything. Wow. It's like you're coming to play with your friends, basically. Right, but we're playing at a higher level, of course, so there's still a certain amount of seriousness that has to be there.
Apart taking them to user tournaments or whatever event, what are other highlights that you can share with us in as far as your teams, both male and females, are concerned? If are there any?
Oh yeah, there's quite plenty. So firstly, they made it to USA. The female team actually just started this year. It's more of a passion project, and then it just took off. And the male team started last year. We went from Division 2 up to Division 1 this year. And now we're just currently looking to play more tournaments and everything, more matches regularly, and just try to get more exposure for everybody on the team. Yeah.
Most of the people I spoke to on this platform, if my memory serves me well, you are the second guest talking about the basketball here. And I'm perturbed by the fact that basketball, it seems to be more popular in South Africa, especially in the BEPs. In the suburbs, whereas we don't hear much about the sport itself in the townships. Right. What can be done to make inroads in the township, to see townships being activated, being developed in as far as the sport is concerned, just like your football?
Right. So I think being able to implement facilities within the townships will then heighten the accessibility towards the sport. Right. So if we can get more people involved in the sport, like how there's kids on the street playing football with bricks, if we can somehow implement basketball within that, I think then it reaches everybody else. And therefore it won't be a thing of it's just in the burbs now. Now it's everywhere else as well. And giving them access to like media such as the NBA and all these sorts of things, and even the different European leagues and Japanese leagues will heighten the accessibility.
We usually see star-studded players going back to their communities to plow back, interact with little ones and so forth, in trying to maybe inspire and also sensitize them about their sport. They do talk shows, they do road shows, they engage with them, they donate sporting equipments and so forth, so that the young ones could develop interest and love for the sport. Are you guys doing the same thing, maybe visiting areas of your Tembisa and so forth, in making sure that maybe you spread the word in as far as the sport is concerned?
So currently we occasionally go out to high schools and whatnot and try to teach the coaches on off days, and I mean the kids on off days, and teach them more about the game and try to involve them in that way. And maybe to the less fortunate schools, we also do pop by, you know, play with them a bit, show them more of the sports and show them how we play, and then sort of try gain that love for the game through us. Right.
Any international player who has actually, or the one that you're looking up to, from the likes of your Shaquille O'Neal, the likes of Michael Jordan, what is that gentleman who passed on in a helicopter accident?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe, yes, the likes of Kobe, may his soul rest in peace, and many others. Do you draw inspiration from such players?
Yeah, definitely. I think I pretty much draw a lot of inspiration from Jimmy Butler. He plays for the Miami Heat.
Okay.
as well as Michael Jordan, currently retired, of course, and as well as Kobe. I love the work ethic from Kobe Bryant. Yeah.
And I'm told Michael Jordan, he got endorsement from Nike, and to this day, he is still raking in millions in as far as Nike Sport is concerned.
Right. So after joining in with Nike, I think he formed the Jordan brand afterwards.
Okay.
And then therefore, like players just started signing onto the shoe, and it just took off. It just really, really took off. And yeah, now Jordan is the central point of basketball. You can't think of basketball without thinking of Jordan.
Any opportunities or chances for you guys perhaps to liaise with or get in touch with such stars, and maybe someday to come down to South Africa and to speak to the young ones, and also including your teammates as well, motivate them going forward?
Yeah, you know what? I would hope that they would present themselves, these opportunities, but we're currently sorting out an endorsement deal or trying to negotiate one. And yeah, we're just trying to hope for the best going forward with that.
Let's move away from the US, come to Africa as a continent. I stand to be corrected with what I'm going to say right now. I understand Kenya is one of the countries that is doing well in as far as the sport is concerned.
Right.
I understand Kenya is doing well, and I understand, in exception of South Africa, a lot is happening in Africa in as far as the sport is concerned.
Right.
Just share with us, give us your sentiments.
Okay, so there is different countries that are also doing well in basketball, like Kenya, and Nigeria is also a big place for basketball. Even Ghana has a big supporting of basketball. A lot of Nigerian players go to the US, like Hakeem Olajuwon went to USA to play for the Houston Rockets, and he's from Nigeria.
Okay.
And even like players like Giannis Antetokounmpo went to the USA from Africa, and there's just a lot of talent in a lot of places that you wouldn't expect it to be. And that's just despite circumstances and everything, right? In all these different countries, and yeah.
But do you think it's a good move or a fair that is planned to have our talent being exported to other countries when we can do better if we have good resources, and obviously hoist the flag of the continent itself, than always make reference to the Americans, despite the fact that we all know that the sport originates from there. But is it a fair move for us to keep on exporting such players?
I honestly don't think so. I think that we should be trying to nurture that talent and everything that we find here while bettering our resource management towards the sport. And therefore we increase it, and then we can become competitive to countries like the USA in terms of the sport. Exactly. It doesn't have to always be there. It can start here. I think that there's gold in Africa, quite literally, and we just have to find it.
And what is the cast in stone in as far as achieving that is concerned? What should be done?
Well, I think that firstly, finding such players, getting them all in a space where it's easily accessible for everybody to see, and as well for everybody to join in on, and teaching them and nurturing them carefully, and not necessarily exporting them immediately as soon as they get somewhat good to the US or wherever else. I think that we just need to nurture it right here, and I think that that's the cornerstone. Like, we need to nurture the talent from where it began. Yeah.
How many team members do you have, both males and females?
In total, should be about 22, both male and female, like combined. 22, and then my male team is 11, female team is 8. Right.
What is the age restriction for one to be eligible to become a basketball player?
Like I said, you need a lot of heart, commitment.
Age restriction?
Oh, age restriction.
Age restriction.
There's no age restriction, actually. There really isn't. You can start from grade 1. I've seen kids playing from grade 1 all the way up to like being 80 years old and still playing some basketball, right? There's no age restriction.
It is a contact sport, but not intensely as it is with other sports, obviously. What the nature of injuries that can be sustained by the player?
So there's a huge amount of injuries that that you can sustain from the sport, realistically speaking. Like you said, it's not majorly contact sport, but there is still a lot of contact in there. Like your legs can get hurt, your arms, anywhere from your shoulders, even your back from a bad landing. All those sorts of injuries can occur during a match, during even practice. Right.
Are you guys having sponsorship?
No, not currently.
And then how do you sustain yourself?
So currently we sustain ourselves through the fundraisers that we do at school, on campus and in the local area. And we put that money towards kit, equipment and maintenance of the place of where we would play basketball and train.
So obviously going forward, you guys, in order to sustain yourself more, you would like to have other stakeholders, other partnerships and so forth.
Right, definitely.
I'm going to be personal with you. I'm going to ask you about 5 questions. The questions is about your favorite stuff, your favorite things. And then I'm going to start with 1. What is your favorite meal?
Favorite meal? Shucks. From fast food or in general?
What is your favorite meal?
I think a Whopper burger from Burger King. It's pretty good. Yeah.
When you stress, how do you de-stress?
I try to implement that into sport, running, swimming, whatever. Just trying to do it physically.
What's your favorite gadget?
My phone.
Your phone?
Yes.
The place you are aspiring to visit as an excursion one day?
Japan.
Japan?
Right.
Why is Japan?
I love the culture, the people. I love how convenient everything is that side. I love how clean it is. And yeah.
Overpopulated it is. Do you think they're still open to visitors?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last one, where do you want to see yourself in the next 20 years?
The next 20 years, I'd ideally like to see myself as a basketball player in the BAL or in a Japanese basketball league called the JBA, and playing there professionally as well as coaching. And yeah.
We're about to wrap it up. I want you to talk to the viewers and share with the viewers. Tell any young girl, any young boy at home why they have to join basketball as a sport, what are the benefits, what it means, and so forth. And also share your contacts if you would like to, where they can reach out to you for advice, or if they want to perhaps find more information in as far as the sport is concerned. This is your time, and don't forget to sell yourself as well as your team.
Right.
Sure.
Hi guys, hi girls, hi everybody. Just play basketball. It really connects you to other people. You really get to know more about yourself and as well as about everybody else. You can build genuine bonds, and you can really just excel and become a higher version of yourself through the sport. Can get physically better, mentally, emotionally even, and make tons of memories, and really you can just go all out and just be you without necessarily overthinking anything or being judged or thinking about it too much, to be honest. You should just play basketball. And
your socials?
My socials, right. Instagram, you can catch me at Kibokunn, KIBOKUNN. And that's literally all where I'm at right now. And yeah, there will be more socials coming up though. Thank you.
Any long term in as far as your team is concerned, Tshepo?
Any
long-term plans in as far as your team is concerned?
Right. So I intend to get my team above the Division 1 league, to get them into the Premier League, and maybe hopefully also propel them forward to the BAL. And that's honestly the current goal as of right now. And yeah, just try and nurture that, try and nurture everybody and push them to be the best version of themselves right now.
Talking about propelling them to the BAL, how many games or what does it take for you to reach that level?
So to reach that level, you need to surpass Division 1 and then as well as the Premier Division. Then you get basically upgraded to the BAL. It's almost like how the Premier League works with the
First Division,
right.
Premier League.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly how it works.
Okay.
Same concept.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tshepo, Makuru,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being my guest, and I hope this is not our last and final conversation. We're still gonna meet up, and we're still gonna get more out of yourself as well as your camp.
All right.
It's been exciting talking to you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity, and it definitely won't be our last conversation.
There you have it. As I always say, we say what they won't say right here. This was Biggie on Sport. That's how we come to the end of it for this year. Thank you so much to the team that has been working tirelessly throughout the year. I'm talking here about the content producers behind the scenes, Jimmy Mashazi and Nontlanta. Once again, I must extend my greatest gratitude to all the viewers who took some time to watch all the episodes that we have captured throughout the year since we started. I can't believe that we have reached this level. It has been tiring, apprehensive, but most of all, it was a grueling exercise as we wrap up the year. Thank you so much. Once again, I'm appealing to all of you out there to make sure that you constantly watch our episodes as we profile and look at various sporting codes with different individuals. I would like to take this moment to wish you all the best as we are drawing nearer to the end of the year. May you have a Merry Christmas and a good festive season. We're looking forward to be with you again in 2025. Thank you so much, guys, for your contributions. But above all, the technical guys who are making sure that we get a good sound quality, a good picture quality. I'm talking here about the guys at JD Art 24 Studios in North Cliff. Please do share, do subscribe to all our socials as we always bring you Biggie on Sport. Until then, sharp sharp.